All right. Let's take a look at the weather today. Last time I checked, it was marginal risk, no problems. Oh. Well then, let's take a look at freaking Deja Vu setup, man. Dang. Good morning, YouTube. Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Things have very quickly changed, as they usually will do sometimes with weather, especially severe weather, as we now have this enhanced risk that's been issued in a very familiar area. That seems to be the trend this year. Once you start getting severe weather, you can't seem to get away from it for a while. But this time the area is a tad bit different, albeit within the same region. The Texas-New Mexico line has been a hot spot over the last few days, and we have seen some spectacular storms, including the live stream that we went on Wednesday here, which includes the rain-wrapped tornado that was chasing other storm chasers down. A few chasers were impacted, but from what I've heard, there have been no fatalities or even injuries at the moment. I'll still check in on that just to make sure I have the information right. But so far, everything seems like it turned out okay. I don't know if the storm did any damage either. I've been kind of in the dark on reports. But we also can't forget about this area up here towards the northwestern plains here. We have maybe areas just to the east of Sheridan, Wyoming, east of Billings, Cheyenne, and even Denver, where we could see the threat for all three hazards, particularly significant hail and damaging winds. Tornado threat is 2% here, so this is no sleeper. And not to mention, we've been seeing a lot of times this year where we've had only 2% areas, and these areas overperform. So nonetheless, something to definitely keep an eye on here. I've actually been really interested in chasing more of these marginal, or not chasing, but more so covering these marginal events. I wish I could chase. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the models here and go on from that point. So here we are looking at the Cape convective available potential energy. And what we're looking for here is Cape above 1,000 joules per kilogram, and it's already going to be abundance first thing in the morning. And once we get late into the evening here, towards the early part, this is where we're really going to start to see things begin to ramp up here. We're getting up to about 1,500 plus joules. And in fact, let me switch this model over to 06Z. So now we're at 06Z here, we can look a little further. But at 02Z, watch what starts to happen as time goes on. We start to see a westward component as that instability starts to rush forward off to the west here. So these storms are most likely going to be moving north and running into additional energy here. Some of these pockets we could get up to about 1,500 joules per kilogram. So this could be late evening and maybe even in some cases an early morning nocturnal event, severe weather event. So we have to keep an eye on that. Nonetheless, tornado threat I think is going to happen a little bit earlier in the evening. It's going to be a very small window, just like on Wednesday, probably about 2 or 3 hours worth of potential severe storms, supercells, etc. Hail threat will probably persist late into the evening and into the overnight. Damaging wind potential is probably going to be greatest across this area, especially with some of the soundings that I've looked at. We aren't going to have really too much time to take a look at that. But nonetheless, that's the main things that's caught my eye so far. So when we go forward here, storms will probably start to initiate just before about 8 o'clock my time. So in reality, we would be looking at maybe 5, 6 o'clock mountain time. So I think a good 2 to 3 hours of storms with tornado potential will be possible, because by the time we get to 04Z, which would be about 9 or 10 o'clock, we're looking at composite reflectivity here, but we're looking at updraft potential as well, or updraft helicity. And if you watch really closely here, you'll see these little marks, like these little black areas, these black lines. That's an indicator of an increased updraft potential. And you see it persist from 00Z all the way to 03Z. By 04Z, we start to lose it. So again, short window. Not to say that every storm doesn't have increased potential, but for the most part, I'm more focused down here. Not to say that anything can't happen up here, but if it's going to happen, I expect it actually to be a little bit early in the day. In fact, I see a little bit of increased activity over here early on. So hopefully I can get home early enough to cover everything from when I get off work, excuse me. But that being said here, let's go ahead and take a look at the significant tornado parameter. The numbers aren't really super high according to the HRRR. The NAM models have always been the hottest on this setup, but the peak time that I've been seeing so far has really been more so towards 03Z, which would be, again, right around that 9-10 o'clock hour. So we might get some pretty crazy nighttime storms over here on this borderline here between Texas and New Mexico before things start to settle down. By the time we get early into the morning here on Saturday, nothing really is going to be of major concern. We'll have a weekend forecast probably in the morning tomorrow, since I don't expect to really have enough time to really do a good weekend forecast without model updates getting caught in the middle. With that being said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you enjoyed the content from today and are going to, hopefully, if you join me for the live tonight, make sure you hit that like button, smash that bell, make sure you get notifications for every video that goes up. And then, of course, hit that share button too. We want to get this out to as many people as we can. And then also, of course, comments. Love to respond to comments for the most part. So feel free to hit me up. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here and get ready for work. This has been Metalhead Weatherman. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.